Good morning and welcome. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Rachel with Evergreen Certifications. Today I have the honor of Tammy Nelson joining us to answer some questions about integrative relationship therapy. Tammy, do you want to start by introducing yourself to our audience?
Sure. I'm Dr. Tammy Nelson. I am the director of the Integrative Sex Therapy Institute. I've been a psychotherapist for over 30 years, and I'm a specialist in couples therapy and in sex therapy. And I've written 6 books, one of which is called Integrative Sex and Couples Therapy. And I'm the host of the podcast, The Trouble with Sex. And you can check out my TEDx talk as well.
Awesome. Well, let's start. Today we're going to talk about like I had mentioned, the Certified Integrative Relationship Therapy Professional Certification with Evergreen Certifications. But Tammy, I'd love if you can just start for our audience by just giving us a very brief, or as brief as you can, overview of what is integrative relationship therapy, and why should people become educated in this area?
Well, for me, my integrative relationship therapy model is the culmination of over 30 years of doing individual and couples therapy. And for anyone who is new to couples therapy or relationship therapy, or people who are more advanced, it's a course that will teach you really the fundamentals of working with relationship. So it's not just for couples therapists, it's anyone who wants to work with their clients on the challenges of what it means to be in a relationship, which I think, frankly, everyone should know, especially at this time on our planet.
Yep.
That's our biggest developmental need right now. Like, we are the front line healers that are being called to work on relationships. And so in the relationship therapy world, there's a lot of great models and there's some really great interventions. In integrative relationship therapy, I take some of those and the best of those models and teach you ways to integrate some of those skills into your own type of relationship therapy, as well as integrating sex therapy, because I don't think you can work on relationships without at least having a fundamental knowledge of how to deal with people's sexuality. So I'm really committed to driving the whole field of psychotherapy in this direction. Like, everyone should have training in integrative relationship therapy so that you know how to talk to people about sex, talk to people about trauma, deal with things like affairs, monogamy issues, and have the interventions to take people through the stages of healing.
And when you refer to, I'm sure this is a question we get kind of often. When you refer to relationships, are you speaking about romantic only relationships? What kind of expound on that for our audience too, of what type of relationships you'll be working through in this coursework?
This course is focused on people in emotional, romantic, sexual, primary relationships, but also people who are in open relationships, polyamorous relationships. And in addition, it's really about our narrative around the relationship we have with ourselves and our own history with the relationships, our history with our parents, our history with our sexuality, because that's really where it begins. So you don't have to be in a relationship to benefit from integrative relationship therapy, because our whole world is relational. So, if you're watching and you're a therapist, if you have these skills to help people to work relationally, I mean, that's the beginning of healing our political divides, our struggles around the planet. Like, this is the front line, the beginning of how to create a bridge. Like, how do you create a bridge either to your own past, to your current narrative of what it means to be in a relationship and your hopes for a new relationship, or the current relationships you're in. And some people also use this in their business relationships or with their children. And I think you can apply the skills. Hopefully you will apply the skills in every relationship in your life.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yes. Thank you for getting into detail there. So once people have completed the training, and if for our audience, if you scan that QR code, or occasionally you'll see flash at the bottom of your screen a link. If you go to that website, you'll find all the information about the Integrative Relationship Therapy Professional Certification and the links to Tammy's content that you can take to get the education you need to become certified. That course is fantastic. So go check that out. Once people have completed the coursework, they've done all the steps. Why do you feel it's important for people to pursue a certification down this in this specific topic area?
I think for two reasons. One, because it tells your peers in the field that you have some competency in this area. It's not that you just took one course or you saw one video, or that you learned this in graduate school. It really is a comprehensive training with a lot of case study videos and a lot of interaction with me in the consult group, so that you really are trained to do this. And if you get the certificate, there is a community of people that will recognize this as, oh, I can refer to you because you know what you're doing. And then the second reason is for your own sense of completion. And there's a sense of like, I accomplished this. I have these letters after my name. I really am qualified now to help people with their relationships. I think working with couples and relationship therapy is one of the hardest things that you can do in your career. And so feeling more confident that you have the tools and the interventions and the techniques, and you have a whole tool belt full of things that you can pull out during your sessions, I think is crucial.
Yeah. And I know you hit on this kind of nicely in our overview of talking about going into our next question, talking about what people are going to learn. But I think it's so neat how you had shared that you're taking multiple different techniques and presenting them to people. So it's not this is the one thing you're going to do with couples. No, every couple might be different, right? Every individual might be different. You also talked about too, like what's unique about this certification. Not only are we getting this, our professionals getting this really nice course presented to them that you've created, they're also getting that consult time with you in that group setting to ask questions, to present cases. So I think these are the things that are really making this certification and the process for people to become certified very unique in the realm. Any other things you can think of that make it unique, or things you really want to point out of that will be a golden little nugget that people will take from the training?
I think because there is such a wide range of clinical videos of me actually doing the therapy, and then you'll have time to talk about your own cases. And I think there's such a wide range of interventions, using art therapy, using IFS, like there's a way to integrate all those skills and to identify when do I use them. So you may have a little bit of experience in a lot of areas, but this will teach you how to assess what you need to do, how to decide which approach is applicable here, and then how do I actually apply it.
Yeah.
And I think one of the other things I just wanted to mention is that a lot of training programs can sort of give you a ton of information, but not tell you what the steps are to get through the therapy. And this is a very clear program that has, the beginning, the middle, and the end of the treatment sort of planning. Now, not every approach is going to fall neatly into that, but at least you'll know in your mind that there is a continuous process here, and your clients will feel that as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that leads nicely into the next question of kind of what professionals is this certification for? And you had mentioned, being able to take these and take them immediately into your practice after being educated. And so the intent, or the professionals that this certification really is for those fully licensed, master's prepared mental health professionals. So we have psychologists, counselors, social workers, obviously marriage and family therapists, those types of individuals. And with their background they already have, plus this training they're going to go through and the knowledge you're going to train them, really being able to take practical things right into session with couples that they're working with. So I want to get a little bit more into the group consultation. So to become certified, applicants go through the training, and then they participate in 3 2-hour consult groups with you. One of those, they'll be presenting a case. Talk us through what you've seen in these groups already. Why are they beneficial for professionals, and what will professionals gain from attending these groups with you?
Well, I've been doing supervision and consultation with therapists for decades, and it's one of my favorite things to do to, sort of amplify your knowledge by giving you real space to talk about not just your successful clients, but the ones that you struggle with, and to help you find ways to process your countertransference, like what's going on in the session in the moment, and to use the skills that that you may not even realize you've developed from the course. So to really have ways to apply them practically. And also the other piece is that you'll meet other people that have gone through the course, and it creates a really tight community that then can extend even beyond the consult group. So, people that have done consulting with me or supervision are still on a listserv together. They're on social media together. They meet ongoing in consult groups, and that can be a really impactful network.
Yeah. And I was going to say that just being able to just see how people are exchanging, hey, is anyone in this area? Is anyone local here? Or exchanging, creating Facebook groups where they can continue to network and continue to talk through things as a group. It really creates that sense of community, I would say. So that's very cool to witness and see. So for the certification, after that first initial 2-year, we require that a renewal is obtained every 2 years, which requires 12 hours of continuing education in integrative relationship therapy topics. Talk us through why it's important for people to continue to take training in this area, and talk us through some of those topic areas that you teach in that will qualify for that renewal.
I personally, and I know Evergreen feels this way too, but I personally believe that you have to stay contemporary in this field. Like there are so many, new interventions and new ways to look at treating trauma and how it affects relationships, or, using the latest research in sex therapy. I think you have to stay on top of that so that you know that the work that you're doing is the most beneficial. But also, one of the breakthroughs in this field is that we can actually look at people's brains neurologically and see the effects that we're having on people. So you want to stay current, not only with the interventions, but the research, and also the studies that show that, what you're doing is actually having an effect. And you'll want to do that. You'll want to reinforce the skills that you already have, pick up new skills. And actually what happens is the more you practice relationship therapy and integration, the more you're going to find like a lane that you might specialize in. So, some people try to stay really broad because they think they'll get more referrals, but actually it's kind of paradoxical. If you pick one specialty, then people know you as that specialist and they'll refer to you. So over a couple of years, you might find, I really like working with this population, or I'm really good with this particular issue. And you'll want to get more training in that area, and that we can provide for you.
And I do, one thing I always appreciate about you, Tammy, is I always say you're like ahead of the curve, right? Like the content, the content you're putting together is really staying ahead of latest in therapies and technologies and all of that. And so all of this great content is being released with you that people will want to learn to just help their clients and stay the most up to date. So lots of good content to keep up with for those renewals. Well, last question I have from you. If you have anything else, feel free to jump in. But for this certification, Evergreen really had the privilege and pleasure of working with you and your institute to partner together to launch this certification. So talk us through, why were you so passionate about getting this certification out to therapists, and what made you so passionate about wanting to partner with the Evergreen team on this?
Well, it's not the first time that I've had the pleasure of working with Evergreen. We did a sex therapy informed program that has been, hugely impactful, I think, on the field in general. And so, to have the capacity to reach the most people who need the most help, I think, is my mission. And so the fact that we can work together with the same goals, like just the goal of wanting to get these trainings out to the most people so that we can help the most people and have the most impact, give the most benefits, sort of takes us out of this space of this privileged corner of the world where we can only reach these people because these are the only people that can find us. And Evergreen's been nothing but amazing to also help sort of narrow down and clarify what people are looking for and what people really need. So I think we're both on the same page with that, to be able to take in feedback from people, find out what people really need and are looking for, and can create programming and content that is really important for the therapy world and what people are actually seeking.
Yeah, I think it's been a privilege because obviously you bring years of experience of that clinical knowledge and bringing the topics that you're so passionate about presenting, and then Evergreen can help with making the application process and all of that simple and easy for the customers and professionals to figure out that process. So it's, from my end, been a super big privilege and benefit to work with you. And I see in our chat, we have some people saying they're interested in getting this course and certification. So that is fantastic to be reading in our comments here. Tammy, I want to thank you for your time today. It's always a pleasure to get to see you and chat with you. Again, anyone watching, make sure you scan that QR code or go to the link at the bottom of the screen to learn more. And Tammy, I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. And thank you, Rachel, and everyone at Evergreen for making my life easier and making this, every student who's ever taken a course, making their life easier, because it really is amazing how you manage all of this. So I